That is a bad heroin day. Is that straight? Hang on. Is that ready to go? Is that straight? What aperture am I on? For crap's sake. Man, it is like... Hang on, check this out. Check this out. Can you see that? No, that's all blown out. If the hang on, wait for it. Wait for it. Look at that. Look at that rain coming down outside there. That's not normal for us. It has been a good snow year so far. Hang on, different tripod here. Looking for my green flat line, telling me that I'm it's like bouncing in and out of green, and trying to get this level. Maybe my head's off. I did finally get a chiropractic adjustment, and it turns out that my number one rib on this side was completely displaced for the last 10 months. Hence the amount of pain that I was in. So think about that for a second. Think about all the travel and the workshops and the photography and lugging bags and luggage and traveling and cycling and hiking and running and working out and everything. I did all of that with a displaced rib. And man, when they put it back in, that was fun too. So I'm actually feeling a little bit better. One of the most important things, maybe the only important thing that I can provide you with, at least in my flawed and misguided ideology, is honesty. I think that it just dawned on me right as I'm about really pondering the idea of never making another YouTube film again, or video. I don't know the difference. I don't know why I'm supposed to call it one thing or another. I don't know. But I was like, what am I providing that's of value to anyone? And I think honesty, maybe, is the only thing I'm providing. And I don't know. And maybe my honesty is not the same as your honesty. I don't know. But we are going to discuss something today. See if I can get this to focus. Is it going to focus? That is it's inconsequential, because clearly it's more important to have my beautiful sculpted face in focus than this. This is the National Geographic 2021 year in pictures. 2021. I didn't bother with 2023 or 2022. No, I decided to dig out the 2021 year in photographs, because there is a valuable lesson here that I believe revolves around honesty, which is not often celebrated in the online space. The facade is what I would call mostly what's celebrated in the online space. And I don't know whether I'm too old or too tired or a combination of the two to kind of play along with the facade when I know that things like this are out here. So again, the smart photographer would probably start at 2023 and work backwards, but no. I never claimed I was an intelligent photographer. 2021 year in pictures. A lot of you, at my request, send me emails and text messages and direct messages and online chats and all the new like super high-tech things of like, hey, you should check this out online. Hey, you should check this out online. And most of the time, I will at least take 1 or 2 seconds to kind of scope out what I'm seeing. But most of the time, when I get to the end of that rainbow, there is no pot of gold. And the reason is because I actually know where the pot of gold resides. And I can go and source the pot of gold anytime I want. Now, I know what you're thinking. MILNOR, National Geographic is crap because I've never been published in it. And they clearly haven't seen my genius. Well, that makes two of us. I have never been, let me think about this. I have assisted for National Geographic, but I have not been published, I don't think, ever in the National Geographic or the National Geographic Traveler for that matter. But it doesn't matter. And I will grant you this. The National Geographic may or may not have the same luster that it once did. Timelines are down. Budgets are down. Subscribers are down. My generation was the last generation to really subscribe to National Geographic en masse. The following generation, it fell off a cliff. And so consequently, when your readership is down, that is a significant portion of income to support an organization like Nat Geo. The television channel, apparently, is the belle of the ball these days. But think about it. You can sit on your fat ass on the couch, eating bonbons with your iPhone in your hand, flipping through Instagram and watching the Nat Geo channel. That is a very doable thing. You can even substitute cheese puffs for bonbons and then throw me into that equation if I had a TV that actually was connected to anything, which I don't. But if I did, I might be doing that. You can do that. What you can't do when you're reading is watch your phone at the same time. And consequently, this is a much heavier lift for the modern human being than the television is, sadly. But here's the problem with you guys sending me links all the time. And I told you, I get to the end of the rainbow and there's no leprechaun and there's no pot of gold. Because of this. In no particular order. Lindsay Addario, Pulitzer Prize winner. Addario is focused on COVID-19 death rituals in the UK and consequences of climate change for women. Might want to check that out. Juan Arredondo in Colombia. Arredondo has looked at how former rebel fighters are reintegrating into society. All right, and I'm skipping a bunch of people here, and some of these people I know and other people I don't. Alessandro Cinque. In Latin American, Cinque investigates the effects of COVID-19 on native populations whose water is tainted by mining operations. You see where I'm going here with this, people? Dar Yassin, a veteran photographer of conflict and disaster. Dar Yassin shared a 2020 Pulitzer Prize for images from contested Kashmir. God, for the love of crap, I want to go to Kashmir so bad. David Gutenfelder. First funded by the Nat Geo Society in 2014, Gutenfelder examines the human condition. Okay, that's a bit art speak. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. However, I'm about to show you an image by David Gutenfelder in this Pictures of the Year 2021 that is a damn fine piece of photography. This is a name I didn't know. Kiana Hayeri. Hayeri has focused on conflict, often in Afghanistan, where she lives. Think about that. Female photographer living in Afghanistan. Sounds a bit challenging. Sounds a bit harder than shooting an old barn with a 6x7 camera and talking about the film. There's a ton of names I don't know in here. Here's one I do know. Oh, write this down. Henry Leutwiler. Leutwyler. Henry Leutwiler is a complete and total badass. I met Henry Leutwiler one time at the Palm Springs Photo Festival. It was a 2-second, hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. I don't know him. I've never spoken to him. That dude has got it figured out. And Leutwiler, I don't care what project of his you take, it is tied up tight. I've heard rumors of how many books he's sold. And I don't know anyone else in that. If those rumors are true, I don't know anyone else in that category. Renan Ozturk, an expedition climber and filmmaker. Ozturk has made 360-degree panoramas of Everest. Renan thankfully seems to be really hot right now. He's involved, does a lot of work with, what's his face? Alex, I'm spacing, the climber. Everyone knows him now. He's a household name. That guy. Jimmy Chin, those kind of circles. But Renan, just to get in the places to make the photographs he does, eliminates 99.9% of the human population going back all through history. So kind of specializes in something, but very commendable what he does. Victoria Razzo, who I've never heard of before, based in Veracruz. Photojournalist Razzo focuses on the rights of migrants and women. She made this picture in Del Rio that's insane in 2021. Moises Saman has a picture in here that looks like a painting. If you're looking for wide angle, smart use of wide angle, smart use of incredible composition and timing, it is an absolutely 5-star stellar image. I looked at it again and again and again when I turned that page. I was like, crap, that is what we're all after. Brian Scarry, if you like underwater photography. Who else here? Nicole Sebecki. Tons of good stuff in here. She's working in the Congo and the rainforest. Brent Sturton, if you know anything about primates in Africa, you're going to know that name. Brent Sturton, been good for a long time. Amy Vitale, she will hook kick you. She will hook kick you and you will not even get your hands out of your pockets. It's going to come in so fast. She's been good for a long time. Stephen Wilkes, if you don't know Stephen Wilkes, he is a very successful commercial photographer, advertising photographer. Probably does editorial, or at least did at one point in his career, but is primarily known now for doing some, what I would call, how would I call this? Technically advanced photo composites that are kind of unlike anything else anybody's doing. So might want to start there. And okay, so the reason I'm bringing this up is because this has resonance to me. The 99% of what I see photography related online does not have the same resonance. And let's start with the reason number one why. This was edited. Right there. That just immediately separates this from anything I see online. The level of editing and attention to detail that would go into something like this. My guess is they are looking at tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of images to choose for this issue, and yet maybe there's 50 pictures in here. That's called editing. That is called putting the screws to the work at a high level to say, this is good enough to make the cut, and this is not. I would say 99% of the photography that I see online, YouTube in particular, and again, we're talking apples and oranges. The people that are making images in these magazines typically have a history in photography. They've been trained, they've been educated, they've been practiced and put into trial by fire situations again and again and again and again and again to become the people they are. And in YouTube, you just sign up and start a channel and start posting. So it is a bit unfair. It's apples and oranges, but the editing that goes involved here, I don't see that happening online. I see the same kind of images, street photography in New York, old buildings, old barns, lots of attention to the cameras and the film and the clothing and everything kind of except for the end result. So I like the editing here. I think they did 4 separate covers based on probably geographic location. So Dar Yassin, Lindsay Addario, Kiani Hayeri, and Brian Scary all had covers, which is kind of cool. And let's see here. What else do I like about this? Editing, and also, all right, let me just see if I can show a little something here. Maybe a page that, let me just find a page that kind of, and this is not, I would say, the super pioneering design. That is not what Nat Geo is known for. They're pretty conservative, right? But they're known for easy reads. Easy reads, maybe a bit of formula when it comes to their stories. I don't mean that in a bad way, but there is sometimes kind of some expected pictures, and then the covers are historically very simple and very easy reads. And if I look at all 4 covers that were run, they are very simple. There's the one I'm holding, Lindsay's photo of a fire, which is a beautiful photograph. Kayana Hayeri's is a portrait, very reminiscent of a Bill Allard image from Sicily from years ago. And then Brian Scary, it's like a seal right in your face. And who doesn't love a seal? And I don't mean Seal, the guy that does sponsorships for Leica and had a super popular song back in the day. I'm talking about the actual animal, the seal. But they've got some gatefolds, some pullouts here. I'm trying to find like a overall, someone else I should mention, just very briefly, Elliot Ross. Elliot's a friend. I have Elliot's book right over here, American Backyard. So it was really cool to see his name in here as well. But these pages are simple. They're easy reads, but the primary delivery mechanism for information is the image itself. And magazines like this are a rare breed these days. There used to be a lot more, and they're not anymore. Here's a beautiful spread, same thing, Alessandro Cinque, which is the guy that I pointed out to everyone a few weeks ago, his story in The Guardian, which sadly was like buried deep in The Guardian somewhere, but that was a really amazing body of work from South America, and this is a single image from that same story, but it's great. But I want to show you one thing if I can find it. Oof, here's that woman working in Afghanistan. I want to go to Afghanistan so bad, but I'm slightly hesitant at the moment. As an American photographer, descending into the worlds and wilds of Afghanistan seems like a slightly dicey proposition. So I will wait. Really, any country whose primary government spokespeople have, you've got M4s and AK-47s, and you've got night scopes. The main politicians are wearing those at their press conference. I might just back off for a while. Okay, let me find this image of David Gutenfelder. And I'm just going to show it for a second. This is not something you haven't seen before, but I just think this one was like the moment. There. That is people protesting the shooting death of Dante Wright kneel outside the police department in Brooklyn Center. Wright, who was black, was stopped by police for an expired car registration during the nearby trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin, who eventually was convicted of murdering George Floyd. Wright, 20, had an outstanding warrant, so police moved to detain him. When Wright stepped back into his driver's seat, Officer Kimberly Potter shot him, claiming she mistook her gun for her taser. Ouch! She's been charged with manslaughter. So, first of all, it's backlit. Say no more. Love backlit imagery. But think about this. 4 guys on their knees, hands up. In front of them, 2 tactical vehicles and a whole mess of cops in tactical gear, which tells you they are loaded for bear. The photographer has now gone behind the people who are on their knees in front of the tactical police, ready, armed for bear, loaded for bear, ready to cut loose and fire. That is not a position that you want to spend a huge amount of time in. You want to get in and get out and make your image, and it is awesome. This is a really powerful image. This to me feels like something that is not only a testament of the times, it's an image that is going to live forever about the climate in America. And this entire magazine is filled with similar images. There's no fat. There's nothing in here about their cameras. There's nothing in there about their clothing. There's nothing in here about if they're using film or they're using digital. There's nothing in here about nonsense that doesn't matter. This is about the best photography out there. Now, you can argue that point. You could say, I don't like Nat Geo. These are people that work with Nat Geo. These are safe images, whatever you want to say. All I'm saying is, compared to what I see online, there is no comparison. So, am I a snob? Maybe. Do I watch reality TV? No. Do I watch, I don't know. Do I listen to bad pop music? No. I can differentiate, I think, between good programming and bad programming. I can differentiate between good music and bad music, good literature and not so great literature, those things, because I've been doing this my whole life. So when it comes to spending time with something I love, whether it's photography, motorcycles, cycling, hook kicks, puking, or anything else, I think I have a decent grasp of what's good and what's not. And I'm not sure how many people in the prosumer space who've grown up in the online environment know the difference between what's really good and what's not. And another reason I'm saying that is so many people have reached out to me and said, tell me what's good. That is a really bizarre statement in some ways, but I get it. I get it. If you've not been exposed to this other thing, and all you've been exposed to is what's online and what's really deliverable to the masses and that kind of thing, then I can understand why you would say, what is good? I don't know what's good. It's the same thing when people say, tell me what to photograph. I can't tell you what to photograph because I don't know what you're interested in. But it's a bizarre question from somebody in my position who has a story list a mile long that I will die before I ever get to a half of what these stories are. I know what I want to photograph because I know what I'm interested in. So go out and look for 2021 pictures of the year, 2022, 23. Go back. I don't know when they started this shenanigans, but it's worth looking at. And I think it's one step to getting closer to understanding the levels of what's being done. And the last thing I'll say is, let's say here, let me pick another image here. Okay, now let me see here. Don't know this person, so I cannot speak to that person. What am I looking for here? Cinque, I know now. I don't know the person, but I know what he's doing. Okay, Lindsay Addario. Don't know her either. Read her book. Want to know about photojournalism? Might want to read that book. So, Lindsay Addario has an image in here of a forest fire, which I don't necessarily equate Lindsay Addario with forest fire photography. I equate a couple of other people that I know who do that full time. However, really beautiful work. These images, and there's really only one here inside this entire magazine, I believe, on fires that are hers. This is a tiny sample, one image of a much, much broader, in-depth story that is all being crafted at that same level of expertise. That's what's interesting to me. That's the kind of photography that if you want to do long-term documentary projects, stop watching YouTube and start looking at these photographers, going to their websites and using those websites as a hub to dive out into the world of professional, high-level, long-term documentary projects. So I know of her as a conflict photographer. And this goes way back. She's been doing this for a long, long time. And so what I'm interested in here are people who are telling stories, in-depth stories with high-quality photography. It's more and more rare because doing this work costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of time. And when you put something online now, and again, all these people, it's not just in print, they've got to do the online side as well. There is such a short attention span that an image that's 2 weeks old is considered mature. So it's hard to find people to pay for this stuff anymore. I get it. I get it. Was that honest? I don't know. Damn it, this weather's thrown off my schedule. I am procrastinating, and I'm going to make a film about this because I have never procrastinated in my life until right now. And I'm procrastinating about something that I shouldn't be. And it's in the back of my head, and it's kind of haunting me all the time. And I don't like procrastinating, but I'm in sort of a strange spot of not quite knowing what I'm doing or what I'm trying to say. And that's not normal for me. So I'm slowing down. I'm making ridiculous films like this to I don't know, pass the time and to put off the fact that at some point I'm going to have to man up and do what needs to get done. I forgot to mention something. If I go this way, no, go that way. I forgot to mention something. I can already feel the delicates out there taking offense to this film for some weird reason. Here's something I was remiss in leaving out. It is entirely possible to make a living in photography shooting average to below average photography. There is far more average than excellent in the photography world. There's far more clients who want average over excellent. And I know that might sound a bit weird, but average work has been seen many times before. It's safe, it's expected, it's digestible. If someone goes over budget a little bit and that kind of work has had success somewhere else, there's an escape valve saying, well, we just did what they did and they had success and whatever. Excellence takes a bit of risk. It takes someone who's doing the assigning to understand that work like that exists out there and that there is a possibility to get it. But remember, more time, more access, more money to get it. So I can already see somebody saying, well, so-and-so said he made $100,000 on photography in his, YouTube channel or whatever. And I'm not talking about making money from YouTube. I'm talking about making money on assignments as a photographer. I know a ton of photographers who are not great photographers who make a living in photography. There's far more of those folks than there are people that I look at and say, that person is terrifyingly creative and unique, because those people are obtuse. They do not fit into an existing category in the industry. They make everybody nervous. Historically, they've kind of been sometimes abrasive to be around, but they make the best stuff possible. That's all I'm saying. Just relax, just chill. I haven't even had any mate today, and yet I'm already at this obnoxious level. You're welcome.